welcome back to In the Moment.
We're back, and guess what happens next week?
What?
Endgame.
Oh yeah, we're joined by Joseph. He's our new host.
Yeah.
If you
feel
can't
so
tell.
good.
You don't feel... Oh. I see what you did there. Okay, wow, that was harsh. But,
Man.
yeah, so Endgame comes out next week, and I am pretty excited. Not gonna lie.
As I've said before, I'm not excited per se because I don't want to let a certain someone go. I'm not ready, and I think I know what's gonna happen.
I think everyone has
And I'm not
an idea
ready
of
to
what's
let
gonna
a
happen.
certain someone go.
If we will, I'd just like to take a moment and talk about Infinity War.
But real quick, this one's gonna be pretty short. We're just gonna give our theories. Yeah.
And if you would send your theories about what's going to happen, email them to us at ntmpodcast@gmail.com.
Because we're professional.
Yeah, we are. You can email us those.
Or
and
direct message us on Instagram at In The Moment Podcast.
Yeah, do it.
Joseph
and
Joseph, you
Brennan
wanna
will be reading through.
Start with
we're going to talk about our favorite theories for what
Favorite
we think is going to
theories?
happen in Endgame.
an Endgame. All right. Well, one thing that I find really interesting. So I never actually read the comics growing up. Fun fact.
Me neither.
Just been a big fan of the MCU. But one of my favorite theories is that they're gonna show up on whatever this mystery planet is that Thanos is on, right? Because you see him. He goes and he sits down at the end of Infinity War, just kind of sipping his tea, taking it easy. That they're gonna show up and he's gonna, because you see from the trailers that he's got his armor hung up, right?
Yeah.
That they're gonna show up and he's gonna be like, I'm done. I did what I need to do. And but the trailers for Endgame, especially that latest one, there's a fight. Like there's some big fight, but I'm kind of wondering if it's not gonna be Thanos.
Yeah, I don't think it is going to be
I don't think
Thanos.
Thanos is going to be the big bad. I don't necessarily think there's going to be a big bad bully in this one, which moves on to my theory. I think...
Just a second. We need to get you louder.
Oh, my bad. I think that instead of Thanos being the bad guy, I think there's not going to be a necessarily a bad guy. I think the problem in this new movie is going to be them reversing what Thanos did. Not necessarily fighting Thanos, but trying to get everyone back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you've got to get people back, but Thanos, he's done what he wants to do, but obviously he's not going to want them to reverse what he did, because then that just... So I'm curious what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever read any of the comics or anything, but anytime you see Thanos and the armor, the Scarecrow armor, that Thanos is actually... In the comics, Thanos actually helps them
That's
reverse, what happens.
Yeah.
Because he regrets it or something?
He feels bad.
Yeah, I really liked what they did with Infinity War, kind of showing the...
But I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Thanos is going to help. I think Nebula is going to have a big role in something. They played up Captain America pretty well, but after seeing Captain America, Captain Marvel. They played up Captain Marvel, but after seeing Captain Marvel, I don't really think she's going to have a huge role in helping. But she might. I don't know. Who am I
I think
say?
she'll help, but I'm honestly
I don't think
hoping
she'll have
she
a big
doesn't
role.
play a big role, because I don't want to see someone that we have no attachment to come in and like save the day.
Yeah,
I want to see the people who have already been there.
And another
save the
thing,
day.
like, I don't want it to be... Because in Infinity War, the stakes were high. And, like, you didn't know if they were going to be able to pull it off. And they didn't. I mean, they lost. At the end of the day, they lost. You know, they had minor victories, but they lost. And I don't want somebody to come in, and not just because it's, Captain Marvel, and not just because it's a new person, but I don't want all of a sudden them to be like the stereotypical tropes of, all right, the good guys win again. I want there still to be loss and still to be, because I think that's why Infinity War was such a good movie, is because we had that loss.
Which leads me to what my theory for Endgame is I think they're going to somehow they're going to win whatever it is that they win.
Right.
And in their moment of triumph, what I want to see, I don't want to see it, but what I kind of want to see is I want to see Iron Man and Captain America meeting again. because they haven't seen each other yet.
Right.
I want them to see each other again during the final battle.
I want a big bro hug.
And I want them to win, and then the first moment they get to talk, they realize one of them has to be sacrificed for the soul gem to free everyone who's trapped inside, because that's how you get the soul gem, is you have a sacrifice. Right. And then what's going to happen? Captain America being Captain America.
But it has to be something that you really love, and at that point they'd redeem each other.
Well, no, at that point,
but Captain America is going to be like,
Stark.
it has to be me, Tony. Sacrifice me.
Yeah.
And then I think what's going to happen is I think one of them is going to have to sacrifice the other one to get into the soul gem to free everyone who's trapped.
That was one of our good friend Will's theories.
That was my theory as well.
It was
because
Will mentioned
his
it
was
in
slightly different,
another conversation we had. But yeah,
I think
that's one of the ones I
that
agree
would force their characters to become reconciled and then immediately break that.
Yeah, because I don't want them to I don't want them to meet. I kind of want to see a movie where they don't meet each other, because they haven't seen each other since Cap dropped his shield.
Yeah.
Right.
In Civil War, they haven't seen each other. I don't want them to see each other until this moment where they meet up after having fought on different sides, and in the final battle, like they know that they're on the same side, and they're on the same side, and they get to the end, and like they both save each other's life in the final battle, and then at their moment of victory, they have to sacrifice, and it has to be like a split decision. You know, they can't. Wait around.
They're playing up time travel like it's going to be a huge thing, and we know it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be not necessarily a huge thing, but I think it's going to be how they bring everyone back.
I don't like that. It's too simple.
I think they're going to have to time travel back before Thanos started his plan and go to the Soul Realm, and then that's where Cap and Iron Man are going to meet for the first time, and that's where Cap is going to have to sacrifice himself. It's the Soul Realm. So Tony Stark can get the Soul Gem, and Thanos cannot complete his mission.
Right.
That would be...
I think that's what's going to happen. That's one of my theories. Which plays off of
what were you going to say?
The end of that last trailer that they put out, where Captain Marvel comes and meets the rest of the Avengers for the first time. What was Stark? The Stark and Rogers, were they both in there?
Yeah.
So they had already seen, but also the Russo brothers did say that, like the last movie, there's fake footage,
right?
Because you remember you had the Hulk.
There was a shot of them walking with white.
Is that fake
armor? I don't know if that's been fake.
I don't think they would
not, but they were in that scene together. Like Captain America's leading them, and then Tony Stark's walking right.
But I mean, you think like the Hulk was played up as this huge part of,
and he never showed up in the movie.
No, other than that very first part,
which I think is going to play a huge role in Endgame.
I think
what happened to the Hulk?
Right.
Yeah, I think that might be a thing. Like when they're walking and Captain America and Tony Stark are in the same room. I think that might be fake footage. I think that scene might happen minus one of them.
Right.
Or both of them if possible.
Honestly, Stark, I don't know if he'll be there because
he's still in space.
Right.
He's still in space.
Right.
But then there was also a scene in the trailer of him flying the ship back into New York.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
So I don't know. And he was saying like I wanted to pull off one more miracle or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then it shows him coming back. So I honestly have no idea. But it'll be interesting for sure.
Those are some good theories, though. It's going to be a fantastic movie no matter what. The Russo brothers are going to absolutely blow everyone's mind, as always.
Right.
And they're going to pull it off phenomenally, I believe. So
supposedly, they in the early showings, because it's sitting at like 3 hours right now, just under.
Runtime is just under 3 hours.
I love. Like that's the perfect time length for me when it comes to a movie. But apparently nobody got up to use the bathroom once in the entire thing.
Wow.
So like I'm super pumped. Man. I'm ready for it.
Yikes!
Friday,
wow.
Or I guess are y'all going to the midnight premiere?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
I'm gonna try. Yep. Well,
but I honestly, I think the time travel is going to come into play a part. I think they're going to bring Loki back, and I think Loki is a key character.
Really?
Because they released a bunch of posters for Endgame, and Loki's arm with like his green like outfit, you know, his arm is laying in one of the like is in the it's like the only thing in the poster, and it's like that gray ashy background. Oh, wow. So like they released a bunch of them. So one of them has like Iron Man's helmet, and one of them's like Thor's hammer, which we know is fake now because Ragnarok.
Right.
But or maybe not. Maybe he gets a new one. We don't know. But Loki's arm and like bracer was in that one, so I think he's definitely going to be in the movie.
What if they go back in time at the beginning of the movie, and
they find out it doesn't work,
and then like before Captain Marvel, before everything, what if they go back in time and that's how Thor gets his hammer back when he meets Captain Marvel?
Yeah, maybe.
What if they do that, and then the rest of the movie,
he holding his hammer?
He's holding his hammer.
It's not.
It's his hammer.
In that clip where
it's Mjolnir. It's hammer. It's
when he's like, I like this one.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Hammer. Didn't he like summon it right behind her head?
Yeah,
we're gonna pull that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up
because when I watched that, I was like, wait a minute.
That's what I thought. So that's why I'm saying, like, what if they time travel and he gets his hammer back somehow?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but they're going to pull it off. I just have so much faith. I heard a
theory. Yeah, and I heard a theory that I thought was really interesting, that Thanos is actually Loki.
How did they explain that one?
The thought is that in the spaceship, Loki uses it's a far-fetched one, and I don't really think it has much credit, but it would be interesting because what do we know? Loki has been set up to be a bad guy. Now, obviously, Thanos has kind of been like the arch bad guy, but it would be interesting, and it went that Loki and Thanos had a huge fight while Loki used illusions to make it look like they didn't have a fight, and then Loki ended up like killing Thanos when Thanos kills Loki. So the whole time it's Loki. And so they like switch places, and Loki actually carries out and accomplishes what like.
That's pretty far-fetched.
His idea was.
But that would be interesting.
And that's why he's still in it, because he's not dead.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that.
I don't think so.
They
would. I wouldn't think
but
they
it would
would
be
do
interesting.
that. I wouldn't think they would stray that far away from the comics.
Yeah.
All right, I've got it pulled up here, so let's take a look at it.
It's his hammer.
It's
I told you.
You're right.
I told you.
Yeah, but it's not the traditional one. There's something a little weird about it.
There was something off about it.
It looked like it had more engravings. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never like spent a ton of time looking at Mjolnir,
but it was definitely not the axe.
No, Stormbreaker.
It was not Stormbreaker. Yeah. It looked like Mjolnir.
It did.
However you say
Mjolnir.
that.
Mjolnir.
Whatever.
It was incredible though.
I'm not Swedish.
Dude, it's Scandinavian.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, neither is he.
Whatever, guys.
He's Norse.
Eat it.
Yeah. But I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that it?
I don't think so.
No, we want to keep talking.
What do you say? You were gonna say something.
I was gonna say I read something earlier. This doesn't have anything to do with Endgame, but do y'all remember Iron Man 2 when Tony Stark hops in front of that kid to save him?
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know about that till recent. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Talking about Spider-Man,
Far From Home is going to be so good.
It's going to be...
Is it going to take place before or after
We don't
Endgame?
know. It's coming out later, after. But it's... I don't know. I think that, like, it looks from the trailers that it's happening before.
That's what I would think.
But if they, like... do time travel and reverse the effects.
Right. There are theories that it's going to start out where he's on that bus at the beginning of Infinity War,
and it never
happens. Right. That's where it starts, which would be really interesting.
Because where was he going in the bus?
Right.
Because he doesn't ride the bus to school.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, and we know that the last time he went on a field trip, stuff hit the fan. So,
So
that is true. Wow, guys, I didn't pay that much attention.
Interesting. That would be really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. But
I think it's going to be interesting because he's not in New York, and that's really where Spider-Man...
He's in London, right?
And Paris and like
so just
Rome
all over Europe. I'm really excited
for
Jake Gyllenhaal though. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see him enter the MCU.
But Spider-Man really only works in New York because they have so many tall buildings. Like we're gonna encounter so many scenes where he's like trying to like swing across the city.
There's not a lot of
That's true.
Especially like Rome and Paris. They don't have a bunch of really tall buildings because it's all old
it's just
architecture
like
that's
certain,
like 3 or 4 5-story buildings.
Right, but they're like only certain
high-rises.
things that are.
Yeah. So I think that'll be really interesting to see him like try and like web. I want to see a scene like from the first
when
one,
he's trying
when he
to
like
hit
stands
it,
on the edge of the
and
building I want to see a scene like that.
I'm interested to see how they're gonna play out Mysterio, because in the trailer it looks like he's gonna be a good guy.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a comic book that says the madness of Mysterio. Now I'm not gonna open this comic book up because it's still in the package, the original package.
Mint condition.
But it does say the madness of Mysterio, and I want to say Mysterio is a bad guy.
I think that he's gonna be.
So how are they gonna play off him being a good guy?
What's the movie
I'm not sure if he is
where
a good
the
guy.
bad guy like the whole time is? It's like from The Incredibles, Syndrome. You know how he's basically just using. I feel like he pretends to be a good guy. I think it's gonna be a Syndrome-esque.
I hope so. I think that would be
because I know
really
nothing
cool.
about Mysterio,
And I think that would be fun. Yeah, it's very mysterious. I think that I think it would be very interesting to see Peter Parker encounter somebody who is, walking the line between good and evil. Presenting himself as this good person, but then all this. I think that revelation, because it would be similar to the revelation
he's still
that
a kid,
right? He is.
So he just doesn't get that.
Yeah,
yet.
and like you remember the moment in the back of the car when he finds out that what's his name? Yeah, but yes, you all know who we're talking about. When he reveals when the traffic light turns red and all of a sudden he's like, oh no, this is the big baddie.
Right.
Another one of those moments where he's like, oh wow, this guy's been like.
It'd be interesting to like Mysterio plays like a mentoring role almost and like a friend, like I'm the person you were sent here to help, and the whole time he's working against him to see him realize that,
a lot of stuff could happen. Both those movies.
Like I said, either way it goes, the Russo brothers are going to pull it off somehow. We could have a theory right. We could have no theories right.
I bet that's probably
that's probably what's going to happen, because we didn't see Infinity War coming.
We didn't. That's correct.
And you know what? It happened in the comic books, and everyone was like, "No, that's not what's going to happen. Something else is going to happen." It happened. They did it.
Which we might see the exact, basically, comic book for what happens next,
You can never underestimate them, and that's what the point I want to make is, like, you never know what's going to happen, but, dude, it's going to be a good movie.
And no matter what, we're going to be here next week, whatever it takes.
That's true.
Unless I
might have
Thanos
to
crawl out of bed.
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
Yep. But one thing more about Infinity War, where you said that it happened what happened in the comics. I just couldn't. I was thrown from the movie during the climax, and therefore I didn't like Infinity War as much as a lot of people say. So
because it was just so choppy, like where things were happening, or what was it?
No, so I was watching, right, and if you haven't seen Infinity War, go see it. Major spoilers. Right ahead.
If you haven't seen Infinity War, what are you doing?
It came out a year ago, but like I was watching it and right along, and you think Thor has got him, and then he doesn't, and then he snaps, and then
you're like, oh no.
Oh no. And then it's, like, oh no, and then people slowly start to fade, and you're like, oh no, that guy's dead, that guy's dead, that guy's dead.
Spider-Man,
and you keep going, no, but Black Panther was first.
Yeah.
And as soon as Black Panther died,
you're like,
I was like, that's fake.
What do you mean?
I knew.
Oh,
because
they have the movies.
Well, that and Black Panther was one of the
highest
movies.
grossing Marvel movie
of all time.
Of all time.
And
so the studio isn't going to commit suicide like that.
No, and you have Guardians movies coming
out. But like I said, everyone up until Black Panther, it was like, okay, that's believable. Like theoretically, that person would be gone. But then they got to Black Panther, and I was like,
nope.
What are they doing? And then I wasn't watching the movie. I was questioning the studio.
Right.
And what's supposed to be the climax, like everyone's dying, turned into what are they doing?
Right. It's like they're just going to reverse this. But I have high hopes. I still liked the first one, even though there were some things that I was like,
No, I liked it, and that's I mentioned this to say another thing. I think Endgame is going to be a lot better. I'm a lot more excited for Endgame because I don't think they'll have a moment like that where I'm questioning Marvel Studios instead of just watching
this is the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But make sure y'all use the bathroom beforehand. You know?
Do you know if it's going to be about a 3 hour movie?
It's the
just under
runtime
3
is
hours.
just under 3 hours.
So that's not
crazy.
including commercials.
Yeah.
And so make sure that you drink all your sodas and eat all your popcorn beforehand. That way you can see whatever happens.
Yep. So. That sounds exciting. I'm excited.
Same.
We will be there. We'll hopefully be able to do the podcast next week.
Yeah.
Unless we're all bawling our eyes out.
What if Thanos wins again?
Yeah. That would be...
We survived the cut the first time.
Luckily. But yeah, so we'll see. And I'm excited. But I think that puts a wrap on this episode.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Thank you for joining us in this moment.
We hope to see you next week.
In that moment.